My name is Ranger Eli Massey. I've worked the Great Smoky Mountains National Park for over 16 years. The forest is my church, my compass, my second skin. But what happened in October of 2017 still knots my stomach, still haunts the edge of my sleep like something just out of sight. It started with a call on the radio.
Base to Massey. We've got a possible missing hiker. Solo female, late 20s. Reported overdue by her sister. Trailhead, Forney Ridge.
That wasn't unusual. People got lost all the time. But something about that moment, maybe it was the sudden silence on the channel, or the way the breeze completely died, felt off. It was October 14th. The kind of fall morning that felt like a postcard. Golden mist hanging low over the treetops, crisp leaves crunching underfoot, and sunlight filtering through like cathedral light. You'd never expect the woods to turn on you on a day like that. Jessica Monroe had signed the trail log at 7:48 a.m. Solo hiker, no pets, one-person tent. Expected return, 2 days. She'd taken the Forney Ridge trailhead. Beautiful but unforgiving terrain that snakes through miles of dense old-growth forest, fog-shrouded hollows, and areas locals call the hush zones. At first, it was routine. She parked her car, locked it, and left behind a neatly packed back seat with a thermos, a sketchbook, and an opened book titled Liminal Spaces, Portals, and the Paranormal. That was the first flag. Most hikers read trail maps or nature guides, not obscure, fringe books about disappearing places and the physics of thresholds. Then came her journal. Found in the glove compartment, its last few entries were unsettling, especially one from the night before.
The Smokies feel thin. Like there's less between me and whatever's behind the trees. I want to find one of those places people don't come back from. Not because they're dangerous, but because they're different. Maybe you don't get lost in the woods. Maybe the woods get lost in you.
We figured it was poetic nonsense. Until the dogs lost her scent. Unnatural signs before the disappearance. Search began the following afternoon after her sister Cassandra called from Asheville saying Jessica never checked in. The sun dipped early behind the peaks, shadows stretching like claws across the trail. Everything looked normal, until it didn't. A quarter mile in, we found something odd. 3 stones stacked in a spiral, placed dead center in the trail. They hadn't been there during the morning sweep. We took a photo, noted the GPS. Then, 2 miles further, we found the second spiral. This one made from snapped twigs, woven into an intricate knot, nestled in a mossy hollow. Both formations faced the same direction, northwest, toward nowhere. Then the atmosphere changed. Birdsong vanished. Even the wind stopped. The forest felt heavy, not loud, not hostile, just alert. Ranger Holt, who was behind me, whispered, "Do you hear that?" I didn't, until I did. A distant tapping, like knuckles on wood. Slow, deliberate. Rhythmic. Not a woodpecker. Too controlled. It followed us for nearly a mile, always distant, always just behind the next ridge. Then came the clearing. That's where the trail turned cold. The cold spot, 3.5 miles in, on a ridge facing Klingman's Dome, the dogs halted. All of them. They sniffed the air, circled, then lay flat. Their handler looked confused.
Trail's gone cold,
She said.
like she stepped off a cliff.
There was no ledge, no creek, no animal tracks, just an odd ring of dead moss, perfectly circular, about 12 feet across, with no plants growing inside. The pine needles within it were uncrushed, undisturbed. No one had walked through that spot. It was as if Jessica had walked into the center of that ring and disappeared. I bent down to touch the ground inside it, cold, colder than the air around us. A few inches beneath the surface, the soil was frozen. This in early October. "Something's off," I muttered. Holt didn't respond. He just stared into the trees, slack-jawed. "You good?" I asked. He turned slowly. "You didn't hear that?" I hadn't. But as we stood in that perfect circle of silence, all of us heard the same thing. A woman's voice whispering from somewhere close. Except none of us could agree on what she said. 7 days after her vanishing, Jessica walked into Base Camp B at 5:13 a.m. No one saw her arrive. No one heard her footsteps. She was barefoot, clean, no scratches. Her eyes were wide, lips cracked, yet she was oddly calm.
Where am I?
She asked. When we told her what happened, her expression didn't shift. She blinked and said,
I was only gone for an hour.
She asked for food, then stared at the granola bar like it was plastic.
They don't eat like this.
She muttered. We asked who. She just said,
The ones who wait in the hush.
It was a day after her return when Jessica's sister Cassandra came to the ranger station to take her home. Their reunion was strange. No running embrace, no tears. Just a long, heavy silence as they looked at each other like strangers meeting in a dream. Cassandra did her best to smile and brushed a lock of hair from Jessica's face. Her fingers lingered just a moment too long on her forearm. I saw Cassandra's brow twitch. A second later, she tugged down the edge of Jessica's sleeve slightly, almost casually. She didn't say anything, just let her hand fall away and offered a weak smile. But I saw the color drain from her face. That night, Cassandra pulled me aside.
She had a tattoo.
She whispered, voice shaking.
A hawk on her forearm. Her first one. It's gone.
I didn't know what to say. I wanted to blame the elements. Maybe frostbite, maybe trauma, maybe she had it removed. But there was no scarring, no faded ink, just smooth, pale skin where something permanent used to be. And when I mentioned it later, gently, during our last debrief with Jessica, she only tilted her head at me.
What tattoo?
She asked softly, like the word itself was foreign. I stared at her eyes. There was something about them. Perfectly shaped, perfectly colored, but wrong. Like glass eyes in a wax doll. Reflective, but empty. She didn't blink, not once. Jessica left that evening. The file was closed. But the last thing she said to me before stepping into her sister's car still echoes in my head.
You should go hiking sometime, Ranger Massey. There are places even the roots don't remember.
She smiled then. Too wide. Too long. And when I got back to my cabin, alone with the silence, I found a single pine cone spiral on my doorstep. Delicate. Precise. Facing northwest. And drawn in the dew on the window, barely visible unless the light hit just right, was the outline of a hawk. Or maybe just the shadow of what used to be.